Thanks. We're so glad you stuck around. I'm Christina Keller, your host. I'm here with Sarah Stone. We're having a wonderful time discussing about you communicate with animals, you address their psychological issues on a spirit level.
Physical issues.
And physical issues on a spirit level. Carol Joy, McCabe Joy, I just love to say Carol Joy though, is here. And right here is little Redford. He's blind. He's a foster. We'll talk about that later. He decided to visit me.
Yes.
So we were talking about it's interesting when you started in your journey. He wants to be on the camera. Look at that. That you were doubting yourself,
terribly,
although
for
your
years.
Friends and people you were helping had no doubt.
And they just kept sending referrals, so I just kept taking them.
And there's a story about a greyhound. That was the one that
My
thousands later.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell the
It
viewers.
was early on, and a lady with a rescued greyhound wanted to know if one of her questions was, is there anything she wants that she doesn't have? And so I'm looking, and this was over the phone, and all I could see was a carrot. And I'm like, oh, angels, please give me something, anything. I can't say a carrot. And so then I'm looking, and it starts looking pillowy. And I'm like, oh, my, a stuffed kit? So I said to her, I was terrified, does your dog have a stuffed carrot? And she goes, oh, yeah, it's in the garage. It needs to be repaired. And I almost said, no effing way. But I said, yeah, well, she wants that. That's what she wants.
Well, you get that darn thing repaired.
Yeah. And so I get everything in visions. And
that's
and
fascinating.
feelings and hearing, and it just comes in all sorts of ways.
Uh-huh.
That was the beginning, though, of learning to trust.
Right. Well, I'm glad that she opened your chakra in that area.
Uh-huh.
So what do you find is the most general malaise among the animals? And let's talk cats and dogs for now, because that's the most common household pet. And Redford, boy, he's all about it. So what is the most common between the pet and the owner?
Well, the what comes across a lot is going potty in the wrong places, or not using the litter box. Yes, yeah.
Well, that does anger most pet owners.
It's very upsetting.
And how does the pet feel?
Well, they're trying to say something. Now, I'll tell you a fairly common reason, but not the only reason. But one that comes up a lot is if there's been a loss, and like I'll see the healing energy come into the heart, and I'll know, okay, we have a loss we've got to deal with. And then that so frequently, if it just gets left, this loss unaddressed, will hit the urinary tract. And they literally get a urinary tract infection. And they're peeing or wetting in the house or not using the litter box, trying to say, this really hurts. And so that's when people get mad and throw them in the shelter, and they're just trying to say, I'm heartbroken and it hurts. So we heal the heart, and the urinary tract infection goes away. And sometimes kidney, too.
That is amazing.
I know, honestly, it is, because it's not me doing it. I'm just the connector, but these angels are, and these spirit beings in this other dimension are
well, then the
spectacular.
poor dog, who's already suffering a loss because he's peeing and trying to express it, gets another loss because he's taken from that environment and put into a shelter again.
And
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, how is a person supposed to know that, though? But this is what I'm going to get out one of these days.
So what is the most common, do you find, it's loss, or is it, there's a sense of the dog that you have, that you did the reading on the rebellious teenager she's got, I listened to that, and he has abandonment issues, right? Or
amongst issues.
He has really several things going on. First of all, he's a severe biter.
He bit her.
And he's a few times.
I must be juicy.
And so when I went to tune in, this dog was in such severe trauma. I have this part in my heel, everything has a different place in my vision, but there's a trauma chamber that has 3 levels. He was so far past the 3rd level, he was literally showing me back in the mother's womb. He was so traumatized. I haven't seen that in years and years and years.
Really?
So I started digging. Okay, so what happened? And he'd been in a house with a little baby, and they, for some reason, got rid of him, but he was happy there. And he was in charge of the baby, and everything was good. And I don't know how he got removed from there. And there may have been something in between, but the big problem was there I could see these Gothic people and drugs and like
Whoa.
blowing pot smoke in his face. And I'm not so sure they didn't give him some psychedelic.
Oh, that's horrible.
Really
That
bad,
just-
really
yeah,
dark.
That's
Awful.
heartbreaking.
But
It's-
this dog, he had no trust. He was in just the worst trauma I've seen in a long time. And so we're working through it. And he's out of the trauma chamber now. We're just working on trust.
Oh my goodness! So loud music, drugs, and all that. You know, there
Oh,
can
and
be a
I
lot
think
of.
he was kicked, too. I think he has cracked ribs, which is why he might bite, because he's afraid of her touching him and it's going to hurt.
Have
Right.
you had that checked or?
Well, you know,
We're
it's
kind of waiting to see if
we're,
he sweetens
yeah,
up
we're kind of
first.
waiting to see what occurs with his healing. Because, I mean, you know, even as in a human, there's no, like, you can't put him in a cast
I see.
for a cracked rib.
Right.
So you just have to be real careful and,
Yeah.
and be cognizant of where you're picking him up and holding them. And
Yeah.
So how are you going to help her work with him to cleanse? These are chakras too. Again, we're talking about. And
We went through most of his chakras. That I don't plan it. I just watch where the angels they're doing it all. I'm just watching and writing and recording it too. And I record the
That's what
healing.
you-
I
Yeah.
listened to.
Yeah.
it.
Okay, and so the angels know what to do. I don't. They do, and they do it.
Have you seen a difference in the dog's behavior somewhat? Or?
You know, it's amazing. I mean, he does have flashbacks. Hello.
Flashbacks. That would be the dog
Flashbacks
thing.
of of
Yeah.
of regression, but I mean, or he regresses. But yes, there's been a huge change in behavior, and when you look, I mean, like when you look into an animal's eyes, you can see trust or you see fear. You know, because they're very basic. You know, there's no. There's no guile or there's no lying or anything. So
Yeah.
what you see is what you see.
Right.
And I've seen like the progression of the fear and the real guarded look to kind of now it's a little bit his guard is going down and there's a lot more trust. Not to say, you know, that I still don't have to be on my guard because any
Definitely.
little thing can trigger something. But yeah, no, it's huge. I didn't know what to do. I reached out to Sarah because I was like,
was
oh my
close.
gosh. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I value my.
And the thing is, he has the personality of a prince. There's kings, queens, princesses, and princes.
In the animal kingdom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not everyone, just certain ones. And he's a prince. And he was treated so poorly that he wasn't treated how he's supposed to be treated. So all of this together, he's a real process. Some are instant.
How old
Right.
is he?
He's only 5.
So he is redeemable.
That's it.
Are they
yeah.
redeemable regardless of what age, would you say? Like, we know this little guy's got trust issues, and he's 12, but
No,
look
he
how
doesn't.
calm he is around.
He's amazingly
Yeah,
trusting because he
is.
can't see.
I know. I couldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done readings on any exotic animals, like snakes or iguanas? Or
Yeah, iguanas,
would be
birds, gosh, horses, virtually any kind of animal. It doesn't matter. We
Have you
just
been
look
asked
at
to
the
do a
spirit.
tiger or a lion?
Not yet, but I
or-
would love to.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
I feel like
Yeah.
I have a tiger spirit animal. She shows up sometimes. She's big. She's the orange kind with black stripes.
Mm-hmm.
She's very motherly and supportive. So I would love to.
Oh, you know, and not to interject,
please.
but you know, we when Aiden or Prince Aiden was so far gone that you know you asked for help from the spirit animals, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
And you and I have not been able to talk about that, like which spirit animals you.
I just simply asked to bring in spirit animals he knows and feels safe around, and angels, and beings that will help him feel safe. Just to stay with him so he knows he's safe. And then I leave it up to them.
Oh, that's really amazing. I know. Carol was telling me last night. Sushi Roka, we'll talk about
I
that
know.
later. Awesome.
And yes, I did cry.
Yeah, she did. We had to pull out a hanky because
Yeah.
she gets very emotional, which is I totally understand. I'm emotional just holding Redford but he's
Robert.
so
Well, we named him after Robert
well,
Redford.
because look at him. He's got red hair. He's adorable.
And very handsome.
Yes, he is handsome, and he's so calm. I can't believe it.
I know.
I think he wants to go back to his
Something.
mom, but I mean,
He looks
stepmom,
good.
foster mom.
Foster
he
mommy.
does look good. We'll be back, folks. I'm going to give another shout out real quick to the Red Roof Inn. What else can I say about them? I know they have free Wi-Fi and continental breakfast for guests. They're very convenient to both the airport and the Strip. And the theme of the show, they are pet friendly. Keep that in mind. Don't go away. We're going to come back and discuss more about chakras, animals, and all kinds of good things.